Hello and welcome back to another broadcast. For 11 years now, the Earthbridges webcasting community has been webcasting live in recognition of Earth Day. Their yearly event is called Earthcast and is archived at earthbridges.net. We are broadcasting live on the Earthbridges channel of the World Bridges Network.
If you are listening live, there's a chat room available to ask questions and share your ideas. You will have to log in using social media or as a guest. Adults and students will be in the chat room, so please be respectful, kind, and helpful. Thank you. Today you are listening to the 7th grade students at Rye Jr. High School from Rye, New Hampshire in the United States.
This is the green class.
Hello, my name is Ariana, and my project was on Beat the Microbeads. Okay, so first, what is a microbead? A microbead is a form of microplastic that is used in many cleansing products and exfoliating agents. It is also used in many toothpastes. What is the problem? One tube of facial scrub can contain more than 330,000 microbeads. Every day, our country releases around 8 billion microbeads. That means that there's around 3 trillion released into our oceans every year. This is polluting our water immensely and is hurting our marine life. The animals don't know what they are. They look like food, so they eat it. This means that animals like fish and ocean marine life are eating them and are ending up in our dinner plate too. This can later affect newer generations. When microbeads are in the water, they attract pollutants like flame retardants and other chemicals linked to health problems. Actually, microbeads when in water can be 1,000 times more toxic than the water around it. One of the biggest problems having to do with microbeads is there is no way to correctly dispose of them. When the microbeads are washed down the drain, there is something called a filter that is supposed to take out bad things that could go into our oceans. Microbeads are so small, they make it through the filter and pollute our waters. This is a picture of a filter that would be filtering out things that are going into the ocean. And this is a picture of some microbeads that were found in the water, and they have kind of formed together also. Like that's like probably like 50 put together making one because they've been in the ocean so long. Microbeads are in many personal cleansing products like face washes, shower necessities, and even sometimes toothpaste. There's over 67 ingredients in the microbeads. There was a study that 1/4 of the fish sold in California had microplastics and fibers in their insides. The pollutants that microbeads attract can link to health problems and can also lead up to cancer. This is a picture of a fish in water with microbeads all above it that are floating because they're polluting its ocean, and that is a form of like a diagram of showing you what it could do. It's showing you that the microbeads end up in your own food. That's a picture of a plastic sushi. How is this affecting us and marine? Microbeads affect us too. Over 1,147 personal cleansing products contain microbeads. That's a lot of pollution, remembering that there is over 300,000 microbeads in one tube of facial scrub. Microbeads are affecting not only our health, but future generations to come. When a microbead enters our body, it contaminates us with the toxins that the microbead already had on it from being in the ocean. This can cause diseases in the future. When the plastic enters the ocean and fish eat the microbeads, the plastic ends up in our food as well. It all goes in a chain. We use the microbeads, they end up in the ocean, the fish thinks it's food, they eat it, we catch the fish for us to eat, and now we have hundreds of plastic microbeads in our own bodies. This is affecting our marine life as well. Over 663 species of marine life is affected by microbead pollution. And this also harms their environment because of the toxins that microbeads attract to different environments. Microbeads are made to be able to go down drains. That is one of the main problems. The problem is that then the microbeads end up going into the lakes, rivers, even streams, which all lead to the ocean. Microbeads are being found everywhere. Microbeads look like fish, thanks to marine life. There was an estimate that 1/4 of Indonesia's fish was contaminated with plastic. And not only are people finding microbeads in fish, in all other marine life as well. These tiny beads that we think are so great for our health are actually hurting us and animals. These microbeads don't biodegrade, and they end up in marine animals' bodies and our own. And this is a picture of microbeads on a finger. Why do we use microbeads in the first place? So this is a picture of 3 deep clean microbead. That's a toothpaste with microbeads in it. And this is a picture of different things that exfoliating agents that you would use and the amount of microbeads that are in each and every one. So many of them are deep clean or exfoliating. The number 1 reason. Why do we use microbeads anyways? Well, microbeads have a smoother effect than natural resources, so companies will use them. Microbeads are a cheaper way to fill products, so companies won't have to spend as much money on their products. This makes it easier and cheaper for companies. That's a picture of an exfoliating agent. How can we change this problem? We can put a stop to this. There are ways to stop this. One way is to dispose of the microbead products. There is no correct way to dispose of microbead products, but there are ways to get rid of them in a better way. One way is you could tell the company you bought the product from that you will not buy any more products of theirs as long as they use microbeads. You could also send your product back, but that's a little bit on the harder side. Another better way to dispose of these products is by throwing the source in the regular trash. Make sure to look for the Zero Microbead logo. All brands and companies who don't use plastic in their products use this logo. Also look for products that don't contain polystyrene or polypropylene, which is a light and thin plastic. There has already been some action in this cause. President Obama signed a bill to begin to slowly ban microbeads in the U.S. in 2018. In New York was the first of the states to take up the new law. California was second, Illinois was third, Minnesota was fourth. In September 2016, the new English government announced plastic pieces in cosmetics won't be allowed in the UK by the end of 2017. The US, Canada, and the UK were the first to implement bans. In December 2012, Unilever was the first multinational company to announce getting rid of microbeads from their products completely. This soon caused other companies to begin to reduce using microbeads as well. France recently announced to introduce their ban by 2018, and Taiwan is working towards a ban for July 2018. This is microbeads that have been found in water. In 2012, there was research that found a large concentration of microbeads in the Great Lakes. This inspired many non-profit companies to form a community of activists. There is a website called 5GRES.org. It is connected to most of the organizations that are working globally on this issue. In 2013, 5GYRES launched the hashtag Bead-Free Action campaign to stop the use of microbeads and even microplastic. In just 3 months, the campaign lessened 16 billion microbeads from entering American oceans and lakes. That is their symbol, and more clean, less plastic, the 5GYRES Institute. And this is my work set. Thank you for watching and have an awesome Earth Day.
Hello, I'm Briar, and for my topic, I did roadkill. Roadkill. Roadkill can help determine the population of a specific animal or animals in general. The more roadkill of one animal, the more of that animal there are. Roadkill over the years. Since 1998, the most popular animal to be found as roadkill was the gray squirrel. That's just in Rye, New Hampshire. And this shows that there's been a lot of gray squirrels because there was more roadkill of them. Rye Jr. has been collecting data since 1998, and you can go onto the website to find that data. And it hasn't changed much but a little bit. Gray squirrels have just been going up and down, but they usually were at the top of the most. There is our roadkill sheet from this year. Here's our website, and then here's the link to our website. I made a graph for the different amounts of roadkill throughout the amount of gray squirrels, and they went up and down, as you can see. They went recently down, but they're still at the top of the roadkill animals that they eat. Pay attention to roadkill in the animal population of your town. Start a track sheet, mark down what you see. The reasons for roadkill. Some of the reasons for roadkill are, well, the top one is cars. As the human population increases, the amount of cars increases as well, and that it brings up the amount of roadkill because the animals are getting hit by cars when they're trying to get across the street. Any questions from the chat room? No, that's
Not yet. There is a little bit of a delay.
okay. Then we're excited. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
I fell up and I did icebergs. Icebergs are melting in Antarctica, and according to National Geographic, sea levels has risen 1 inch in the past 10 years, although 100% might not be caused by global warming. I think most of it might be, and that's why they're going up. The Arctic ice is melting at a record pace, but is it going so fast that Arctic ice could be non-existent in 2050? Some people think Arctic ice will no longer be around. One chunk of ice is so big that it is 4 times bigger than the city of Manhattan, and it fell off, and it was called Pines Glacier. Scientists predict that in the year 2100, the sea will rise by 3.5 feet. Over the past 10 years, the sea has risen 1 inch. And we're excited. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Megan, and I'm going to be doing frog skin fights with fluid. Why should we keep frogs alive? We do not want frogs to go extinct because they could help us. Frogs can fight viruses. When vaccines are unavailable, anti-flu peptides may be useful. Some frogs can kill the viruses. Why are southern Indian frogs so important? Found in southern India, province of Kerala, some southern Indian frogs can kill flu strains. People have found that the slime in frogs has small molecules that can destroy strains of flu viruses. The slime name is Hydrophilus. What is a peptide and what does it do? Peptide is a small class of molecules. Peptides protect frogs from certain bacteria. Amphibians have large quantities of peptides in their skin. Different frogs make different peptides. Researchers are creating ways to keep peptides stable. Why can't we use what's in frogs for humans? The compound is not stable in the human body cell. It is effective against number 1 influenza type. Researchers gave frogs a mild shock so they could get extra slime production for the discovery. Some frogs aren't toxic to human cells though. And I'm excited, and this is where I got my photo. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lucy, and today I will be talking about plastic waste. So on Earth today, we have 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. That's a big number, but did you know that every 15 years, that number seems to double? Already, 6.3 billion metric tons has become plastic waste. 30 million tons of plastic is made each year, and half of it becomes trash in less than a year. Plastic waste doesn't always end up in a landfill. Most of it actually winds up in the ocean. And by a lot, I mean 8 million metric tons of plastic in our oceans today. That means that for every 1 foot of coastline, there's 5 plastic bags. If a full garbage truck dumps into our ocean every minute, that would be the same amount of garbage we put into our ocean every year. 20% of the plastic we put into our ocean comes from marine industries, such as shipping and fishing. The other 80% of the plastic comes from land and doesn't even have a reason to be there. 700 marine animals have been observed tangled in or eating plastic. It's a global problem. We can't point to a single habitat or location with no plastic, says Chelsea Walshman, marine ecologist at University of Toronto. Now, Courtney will elaborate on a specific type of plastic waste.
Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm doing plastic straw pollution. How can you change the amount of plastic straw waste? How does plastic straws get into the ocean? And what happens once they're in the water? Aren't plastic straws recyclable? Take action. Say no to plastic straws. When ordering a drink at a restaurant, say no, please. Instead of plastic, use paper, glass, or stainless steel. Over 50,000 plastic straws are used each day in the United States. The United States has to have 175 billion filters a year into landfills. The plastic straw pollution is boycotting our environment. Most plastic straws are too lightweight to make it through the metrical system, recycling sort. The Plastic Straw is a website that tries to abolish plastic straws. The Last Plastic Straw strives to educate the public about that a single use of plastic. It affects our health or environment and the oceans. We aim to eliminate it from the source. Use of plastic straw, written by the Last Plastic Straw. This is our works cited, and this is our works cited for the image. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Brody, and I'm doing colony collapse disorder. So this is what beekeepers saw. 2006, beekeepers all around America started to see a very strange and bad thing popping up in hives. They found no bees except a queen and a few young bees with no dead bodies nearby. Now, this might not seem strange, if you don't know how a beehive is set up. So the way it works is there's 3 different types of bees in the beehive. The queen, which despite common misconception, the queen does not run the hive and is not in charge of it. Instead, she's kind of at the will of the workers, but she's vital to the hive's reproduction with new bees. She lays close to 1,500 eggs every day. So bees will sometimes leave a hive, but never without a queen, and never all of the bees, as seen in such cases. The worker bees do, well, all the work. They gather food, they rear the brood, which is the smaller baby bees, which are inside cells. They protect the hive, they cool the hive, they keep it. Everything that needs to happen, the worker bees do it. And to see all of them leave like that, it's just so strange and against everything that they're programmed to do. A bee is a very simple creature, and for it to do something like this is very strange. And the drones are simply there to mate with other hives. They have no other reason to leave the hive, and they stay in the hive from spring to fall when they die. And so to see them leave, it was just never seen before. This is what a healthy frame looks like before it got colony collapse disorder. So these right here, these are all worker bees. They do all the work. This is brood, so this is baby bees, and it just has wax over it. And this is pollen and honey, which everyone loves. So when beekeepers opened up the hive, they saw none of these bees. They saw the brood and they saw the stores, which it's not right for the bees to do this. So colony collapse disorder is a combination of a lot of different things that humans have introduced to these native honeybees. And it's just this giant ball of awfulness for these bees. And there's 3 main causes of it. The first is pests. And one of these pests is known as the varroa mite. And it has plagued bees for well over a decade now. And what it does is it attacks the brood, as you saw in that other image, and can pass on viruses. But the varroa mite, it can weaken a hive to the point of death, but it's never the main cause of death. And so varroa was seen in these hives, and so is nosema, a small parasite that gets into a bee's gut and causes problems internally. The next,
We have a question.
yes.
Mrs. Harrington's class.
Say it loudly so the microphone can pick it up.
Mrs. Harrington's class is wondering exactly what the queen bee looks like. How can one identify the queen bee in the colony?
So the queen bee, there's only one in the hive, and when an egg is laid, it gets something called royal jelly, and so this royal jelly is fed to bees for the first 2 or 3 days of their life. But a queen bee continues to get this royal jelly, which is full of hormones and all of this growth, like enhancing stuff in it. And so a queen bee is fed this its entire life, and the result is a very large abdomen. So when you look at a frame of bees, you'll see the queen because it's quite large compared to the other bees. And its stinger is different than other bees. So, but it's the same coloration, and a lot of beekeepers, they'll mark the queens with a bit of paint, so it's very easy to see, if that answers your question.
We have one more question. Can you control the pests that affect the bees?
You can. So if you were referring to the Varroa and the Nosema. There's a lot of chemicals that you can use, gases, that you can put in the hive, and the bees will either eat it or just get it on their bodies, and it will kill these Varroa or Nosema. And other things that you can do is beekeepers will actually kill the brood, like a frame of brood, every once in a while, and hopefully that'll get rid of mite populations. Pesticides. This is not something that is in the hive, but is brought into it from fields and whatnot. So it's a very large part of CCD, and they're used to kill insects on the crops that eat the crops. So an insect killing thing that is sprayed all over fields can't have a good effect on insects. It has a couple different effects on them. And when the beekeepers look at the wax in their hives, you can actually find these pesticides in the wax. So it's definitely adding to this. And the last one is environmental stresses. So it can be easily, bees can easily get stressed if their surroundings change very fast. Deforestation, climate change, and movement of hives all add to the stress. And the combination of pests, pesticides, and these environmental stresses are really what can cause colony collapse disorder. So a lot of people, when they think of bees, the first thing that comes to their mind is like a sting, just a sting, and they're just after, like they're just trying to get you. They're just trying to sting you. They're bad things. Who cares if they all die? They're just like mosquitoes. But that's not the case, because they do sting you, but beside that, they're great pollinators. And 1 in 3 bites of food that you take, a bee is responsible for it, for pollinating that crop, or maybe even crops that meat will eat, or cows, living animals that you're eating. So, and they also give us honey, which is always nice. And so this is all great, but the most important piece of knowledge that you can have is how you can prevent it. And the biggest thing that you can do is stop spraying pesticides. These pesticides can spread, a bee will fly for 3 miles to get food. And if it gets on the bee, it can get back into the hive. That's bad. So stop spraying your yard for mosquitoes and ticks. There are other ways that you can go about preventing these unwanted insects from getting in your yard and stuff, but pesticides aren't the right answer. Get your neighbors to stop. Talk about it with other people. It's the most important thing is to keep people educated and make sure that they're not spraying their yards.
We have one more question. How can they classify honey as organic if you don't know where the bees fly from?
So organic, like you're not, like it's from wildflowers, or?
It's not specified.
So organic honey is often, organic honey usually has enzymes which the bees add to it just in the natural process of making honey. And by heating up honey, it actually kills these enzymes. And so when you look in a supermarket, that like crystal clear honey, that's not organic. It means that it's been heated up and it makes it move faster, so it's easier to process. But you want to look for the stuff that says raw, or maybe stuff that isn't totally like crystal clear, because that's what's going to have all of the great pollen and enzymes that give the health benefit. This is my works cited. Thank you so much for watching.
Birdie, Miss Miller has a question. Do you have any natural solutions that we can use on our yards to keep these pests away?
I do not right now, but I can get back to you. Thank you so much.
So today what I'm going to be presenting is air pollution. Air pollution is one of our world's biggest problems. Air pollution is one of our world's biggest problems because we are putting smoke and steam into the environment, which is bad. Air pollution is bad if you have a child, if you have a small infant with you, because their lungs are growing and the air pollution can infect their lungs. Pollution is a very, very big part of lung disease in our world, and it is very popular in Asia. It is very popular in Asia because of how many factories there have, and it's letting off a ton of smoke. Air pollution can cause diseases, or can cause coughing, stomach pain, dizziness, and diseases like bronchitis. We live in this beautiful world and we are putting awful things into it. It doesn't make sense why we just can't keep it clean. A lot of doctors from Asia and researchers have said that Asia is drowning in pollution. Pollution we are putting out off the world isn't just from factories, it can be from cars or motorcycles. Because when you put gas in your car and as you're driving, the fumes will go off into the air. Gas from the exhaust from your car can also just do damage to our world. It can do damage to crops too. Like if you have a garden. Yeah, that's practically all I have.
So I'm Erin, and I did the history of Earth Day. It was started by Theodore Nelson, a senator of Wisconsin, in 1970. And Nelson said that we had to force this issue onto the national agenda because there was a lot of pollution in the air. He brought JFK's attention to it, and he organized a 5-day 11-state speech about it to the environment, but didn't get a lot of publicity. He announced the Earth Day concept and invited the whole entire nation to be involved. What is Earth Day? Earth Day is a way to bring environmental protection to our communities. People pick up trash on sidewalks and beaches, plant trees, ride bikes instead of cars. Earth Day is celebrated on April 22nd each year, and an average 2 million people participated the first year that it was organized. Why do we have it? Buildings and factories for dumping pollutants into lakes, the air, and rivers with not many consequences, and only a small portion of people are familiar with recycling, and not many activists devoted a lot to the industrial pollution. Until the Cleveland Cuyahoga River fire, they didn't really know about the chemical waste problem either, because they didn't know how dangerous it was. By the 1960s, people were becoming more aware about the amount of pollution they were
Rachel Carson wrote a book called Silent Spring, which talked about the pesticides that people were spraying on their crops, which hurt the environment. What was the first Earth Day like? People joke that Earth Day organized itself because they didn't have the time and the resources or the money, yet millions of people participated. And in April 22nd, rallies were held in Philadelphia, Chicago, LA, New York City, and Washington, D.C. April 22nd is also Arbor Day, which focuses on planting trees. And thank you.
Hi, I'm Ella, and I'm going to be telling you about deforestation. The issue. Every year, our planet's atmosphere is slowly increasing in temperature. 15% of this warming in our environment is due to deforestation. This is because when trees are felled, they release carbon that they retain in the bark, mixing with the natural gases contributing greatly to the warming of our Earth. Cars and trucks add less carbon dioxide into the air than deforestation every year. Cars and trucks account for 14%, whereas deforestation contributes 15%. Homes and animals. Trees are home to animals and people, and every time you cut down a tree, you are dramatically impacting the habitat for millions of species. When removing trees and other vegetation, you are removing food sources and water from wildlife everywhere. Not only this, but you are removing trees can expose the animals to wind and sunlight, dangerous to most species. Since trees can help retain moisture in the air through evaporation, without the tree canopies, the air can get much drier. The solution. Cutting trees must be replaced by planting young saplings, getting the government involved and let them do their part in reducing deforestation worldwide. Economic pros and cons. Pros. Deforestation can create a strong revenue source for governments. This can help with money in less fortunate countries. Cons. Though there are pros to deforestation, it can cost our countries trillions of dollars every year, overall having a negative impact on our world. Thank you.
All right, we have one student that is away, but did a presentation, a recorded presentation, so we're going to share that now.
And give me a minute. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Unfortunately, we don't have the sound. I don't know why the sound's not coming. So we will play this along with some of the other videos later when we can figure out the sound to this. Working through my computer doesn't seem to be working well. So, okay. But I just want to do a shout out to Matthew, who has to leave and has already recorded his presentation. He didn't know he was leaving early, so that worked out well. And thank you to Caden for filming him And Lachlan is away, and this is his presentation, but we can't get the sound going. So we will try to work on that. So I think we're up next with another presentation here. And you had a question? Okay.
Hello, I'm Kaden, and my project was on shark finning. What is shark finning? Shark finning is the act of cutting off a shark's fins. The fins are sometimes cut off when the shark is still alive. Why is shark finning bad? Shark finning is bad because it upsets the food chain in the ocean. The numbers. One shark fin costs $500 per pound. A dead shark only costs $200, so it's more profitable to just cut the fins off the sharks and kick it off the boat. A bowl of shark fin soup costs around $100. And 98% of the shark is wasted and dumped back into the sea. 7 million sharks are killed a year for shark fin soup. And here are some photos of shark finning. These are all the fins they cut off, including the primary dorsal fin and the secondary dorsal, and the pectoral and pelvic. This is what it looks like when they freshly cut off a shark fin, little gory. And this is the side effect of all the sharks that have been finned. Here's my works cited. I got all of my sites and info off of all of these right here.
There's a question. How did you come across this topic?
I came across this topic because I was watching YouTube videos and something came up with Gordon Ramsay trying shark fin soup. So yeah, Gordon's my guy. And thank you.
You've been listening to the 7th grade green science class. Next up is 7th grade yellow science class.
We will be taking a quick break to stop the stream and archive this portion of the show. This window will now play the recorded material.
Our next live show will be in the window below this window. Please scroll down to access it. The chat room can float by pressing the 2 squares icon. We will be back shortly.